everyone, it's Clarice and it's the beginning of July, so that means it's time for my June wrap-up. This month I was able to finish reading 6 books, which I'm actually extremely happy with, even though it's technically less than my usual. Mainly because the first book I read this month was A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, which is the 3rd book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. And that's a pretty massive book. It took me about half the month to read this book. I find that George R.R. Martin's books are generally slower reads than what I'm used to, which isn't a bad thing. But because of that, for the first half of this book, it took me about 2 weeks to read it. That being said, his books are also just so intense that by the time I reached that halfway mark, I just couldn't stop reading. Again, like I said, it took me about 2 weeks to read the first 50%, but only took me, I think, 4 days to read the next 50% because things just got crazy at that point. And this book was so good. Definitely my favorite book in the series so far. Definitely the one that made me feel the most emotional out of the book so far. And not only that, I'm pretty sure it's one of my favorite books of the year so far as well. Speaking of favorite books of the year so far, the next book I read was also pretty amazing, and that book was Fuzzy Nation by John Scalzi. This is an author whose work I've wanted to try reading for a while now, a genre that I've been wanting to read more and more of for a while now, and also a format that I've been wanting to try for a while now because this is actually the first audiobook I ever listened to. I've already posted a separate video for the review of this book, so I'll link that down below and I won't talk about it too much here, but I highly recommend it if you enjoy sci-fi or courtroom dramas or just adorable animals. Overall, it's a really good book and I always love a good standalone, so please read this book. The next book I finished this month was Fluke by Christopher Moore. This book I also posted a full review on, which I will also link down below, so I also will not say too much about it. And while I did enjoy it for the most part, and while I did actually really love this one more sci-fi part of it, overall it just didn't keep my attention as much as I would have liked it to. So while I liked it, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Next, I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and while I'm mentioning this series, I later also read The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, both from the Hitchhiker's Guide series by Douglas Adams. This has 5 books. Don't worry, the first book alone isn't this massive. After reading Fuzzy Nation, I started to realize how much I loved sci-fi as a genre, and I also happened to get a good discount on this series, which is basically classic sci-fi already at this point, so I figured why not read it. And so last month I started reading it, and so far it's really fun. It's definitely really strange as well, and the plot kind of goes everywhere, but I think that's part of its charm. It's so weird that it's hilarious, and it's so nonsensical that you stop caring about how much it doesn't make sense. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. So I look forward to hopefully finishing this series in July. Also this month, I managed to finish listening to my second audiobook ever, Speller High Water from the Magic 2.0 series by Scott Meyer. This is the second book in that series out so far. I read the first book a couple of months ago, I think, and actually have a full review of it, which I may link down below if I remember to. And my feelings about the first book and the second book are basically the same. It's really fun, it's really geeky, and what I really appreciated is how much this second book focused on the time travel aspect of things and like time travel paradoxes. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I would definitely recommend it because I don't think enough people talk about this series. It's a super fun series and it's really cheap on the Kindle, so you should probably read it. So that was my June wrap-up. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!